Hi everyone. Today we are going to do a Rajasthani menu. Uh, as you know, Rajasthan cuisine is very popular. According to me, it is the next popular cuisine in the world because of its spiciness, and the use of mutton is also very extensive. They use very wide range of methods of cooking as well. Today we are going to make bati. Uh, they convert the bati later on into a churme ke laddu. And today we are going to make safed mas. Again, it's a very popular, famous signature dish of Rajasthani cuisine. We are going to make bharwa mirch, for which we are going to make use of these chilies. I've also bought regular chilies. You can make out the difference. Just for fun, you can go read the varieties of chilies that are available in the world and then break it down to Indian chilies that are available. Here in Mumbai, these are called Bhavnagari chilies. Not too spicy, but there is a spice factor which we closely relate to the chilies. Also, the advantage of this is you can slit it, you can remove the seeds from inside and get a cavity in which you can do various kinds of fillings. Those who love mince meat can also do a mince meat filling, but today I'm going to make it with potatoes. So this is a special variety of chili. There is a shorter variety called Panveli chilies, which are slightly wrinkled. So when you do a Google search, you will come to know about all those. And when you come in college in person, you will get to see them and handle them as well. Okay. So the next dish that I'm going to make is garlic chutney. Again, very special to Rajasthani cuisine. So as usual, I am going to have all my tools set in the drawer. I have a couple of dusters. I have a net duster ready to go under the chopping board. I have a set of chopping boards ready. I have got plates ready over here. And let us start with checking of the ingredients. This is mawa for my halwa, so I'm going to put that in the fridge. Okay, just getting a hang of whatever is there in the tray. This is cut mutton. Okay, so yesterday when I have cut the whole leg of mutton, I have already finished cutting it that time. You must have seen it. I have kept a little mutton here. But if you need to start with any processing of the mutton, it's not cut for you. You must keep around 15 to 20 minutes for cutting off the mutton. Right? Since I'm cooking for 4 or 5 portions or lesser portions, I am using only so little. You will need to cut little more for around 10 to 15 portions, sometimes even 20 portions. Right? So let's start. I'm keeping the tray down. I'm going to process the potatoes first. So I'm going to wash them, get rid of all the dirt that is there on it, and I'm going to cover them with water and put them on flame. That's the first thing. Second, as they go on flame, I am going to start cleaning. So I need these two things on top. Rest of it I'm going to place down in the lower deck. So the water here, potatoes. I'm going to leave them open because they might just overflow. You can put a lid, half lid also. Starting with cleaning of the moong dal. If you have planned the menu well in advance, and if you know that next day you're going to make the halwa, you can even soak it overnight. The danger in that is it may start fermenting. So it's better that we do it in the controlled time. That's why I did not soak it yesterday evening before leaving. So I'm going to soak it now. Taking it in a saucepan, washing it, and soaking it with water which is at least half my finger length on top of the dal. So the dal is soaked. I'm going to leave it down, put a lid on it so that there is not too much dirt and dust that falls in, maybe onion peels or garlic peels or something. So I'm going to put a lid on it. And next I'm going to work on the marination of mutton. So I have a plate here. Curd. All these things will be kept on the center table, so we will be telling you the proportions. You must go and collect them. Ginger garlic paste. Some salt. Whisking it. Adding the washed mutton. You might have observed that we are using the ready-made curd, which is very thick. In fact, sometimes you feel whether it is actually curd or no. So it sounds little artificial. At home, when we set the curd, especially if you are setting the curd with cow milk, it won't come out so thick. So in that case, what you do is two things or both the things together. One is you can evaporate the moisture content of the milk before setting the curd. So you simmer it little more and reduce it slightly, say around 10 to 20%. Secondly, after setting the curd, you can hang it in a muslin cloth, या तो पुराने दुपट्टे के गीले कपड़े में, या तो ऐसा you can leave it for some time till too much excess moisture gets drained out, and then you can use the curd. So now we are going to keep it again, mix it properly and keep it in the marination for some time. So I'm going to put a lid and leave it on the lower. Next, I'm starting with mutton gravy. So for that I need onions, sliced onions. I'm getting my plate ready for the masala so that I don't have to run around once I start the tempering. So I have sliced onions here. I have some green chilies pieces. These are to be sauteed first, then boiled and then pureed. So I'm not bothered so much for the shapes of the vegetables here. I have some cloves, a small piece of cinnamon, green cardamom and a bay leaf. So I'm set with the plate. I'm going to start sauteing it now. I also will start with a small cup of water there so that I don't have to run around, and in the bargain I don't burn the masala. Let's check if the potatoes are cooked. So I'm going to pierce it with a knife. I can feel little resistance here. So they are not completely done. I need them completely mushy. So I will cook them for a little longer time. What I have observed is not the entire potato is inside the water. So I need to replenish the water. You have an option of putting cold water, or you can also put hot water if you have it ready in the kitchen. When you are working in bulk, like in quantity, I would have gone with the hot water, but here since I'm using smaller quantities, I don't mind putting cold water for replenishment. Let's start with cooking the masala for mutton, taking a little oil. Switching on the flame. I am going to add the slightly hard garam masala ingredients in the cold oil itself. This is one way of going about handling the garam masalas. Some chefs believe that you should add the whole spices when the oil is hot, and the moment you add it in, it should crackle. Just like how we would do a tempering for a dal. For mustard and cumin, we want it to crackle immediately. As against mustard and cumin, the whole spices have little tougher texture, and some chefs believe that you should add them to cold oil and then heat them up together so that the flavors are imparted in a better way. So I am going to try that thought process today. As this crackles, I am going to add the onions, and the green chilies. The name is Safed Mas, so we do not want any color here. We are just going to concentrate on saute, and the moment it gets sauteed, we are going to turn it off. Along with this, we are going to have char magas, which is cucumber seeds or melon seeds dried out, and cashew, which both are good thickening agents. Avoiding to let any brown color come over it. So a little saute, and I'm going to add the char magas and the cashew nut. Both of them are going to contribute in the color as well, apart from thickening. I'm going to add water here. And leave it for boiling. I'm going to leave it uncovered. The onions are also going to ooze out some of their water, so I'm not going to put too much water here. It will take around 10 minutes for the onions to boil properly. Next, I'm going to work on the batis. So before I go for the dough, I have one tray. I'm sure you recall this. बेकरी का है ट्रे, फर्स्ट ईयर में जो हम यूज़ करते थे ब्रेड के लिए. I have little greasing on this, so I'm going to keep that ready. The speciality of this bati dough is it is not rested, it does not need resting. So I need to keep the trays and all ready, right? So I have atta here. I'm going to add some sugar in it. Some salt. And for the short crust pastry, how you added half the amount of fat in the form of butter, I'm going to add pure ghee. Not exactly half, but around 30%. I'm going to rub it up together. I'm sure you recall your bread recipe here. Before adding water, I'm going to ensure that the fat gets completely mixed in the flour. Okay. You can use both your hands and mix it up so it resembles fresh breadcrumbs. Now I'm going to start adding little water at a time. I need a pretty stiff dough here. I don't want to make a soft dough for parathas. Okay, so we are not going to knead it too much. So the same principles as what is done in the short crust pastry, we are not going to knead it too much. So it's going to be left in this form itself. It is roughly shaped into balls. Again, not like laddus where you get a smooth layer on top. So it is going to be slightly rough outer cover, and I'm going to leave it on the baking tray for roasting. Under the most traditional conditions, this would go directly in the chula, maybe wood or coal, but it would go directly in the chula and then it gets roasted. So it gets a nice hard cover on the surface and then inside it is nice and soft. This is how it's going to look. It's going to go in the oven right away. There is no resting, there is no fermentation needed. It is going to go in the oven directly. This is almost boiled for 7 to 10 minutes and I'm going to switch them off now. I'm going to separate the liquid and the solids. I'm going to cool down the mixture on the plate, the onions, and keep it ready for making the paste. I'm going to take out this big bay leaf after the cooling has happened. Checking the potatoes, they have got a good crack on top, that means they are done. And now the knife is passing very easily, so it is completely cooked. I'm going to drain them and keep them for cooling down. In a pie dish. Yes, time to clean the table, get the kachra bowl clean and be ready for the next lot. So let's check what all we are done with. Moong dal is soaked for the sweet dish. The mutton is marinated for Safed Mas. The bati has already gone in the oven. The masala for the mutton is already done. The only thing we haven't touched is the stuffed chilies, bharwa mirch. It's a pretty quick dish. It will happen pretty fast, so I'm going to do it a little later. Now we have to start with the mutton because that's going to take a little long to cook. So let's put the mutton on flame. Let's start. We have a pan here, taking some oil. Have the marinated mutton here. As the oil comes up to a correct temperature, we are going to add the mutton in it. Not too high because we don't want to discolor the mutton. The mutton is going to ooze out its own moisture, so I am going to leave it alone right now, but I will keep a close eye on it. The moment I feel the moisture is required, I am going to add more. So right now I am going to put a lid on it and leave it alone for some time. Right, next I am going to send moong dal for grinding. Let me check if it is soaked properly. How to check it is take a small piece and try to break it with your nail or a finger as we checked for rice. Okay, it's not going to mash, but if you are able to break it without any resistance very easily, that means it has been soaked properly to the core. So I'm going to drain the water and give it for grinding. Kaka has been already told, instructed not to grind it too fine. It has to be a little coarse, right? So I'll do that. Next I'm going to work on the green chilies for bharwa mirch. So I have chilies here. I am going to just cut a small piece of stem, make a slit here, slightly open it out, and get rid of the seeds from inside. If you have carving knife, you can use that, but if I try to put this knife here in between, it may end up slitting my chilies. I don't want that, and a few seeds inside won't make too much of a difference, so I'm going to So the chilies are done. All of them have a cavity in which I'm going to stuff the mashed potato. Now I'm going to do the potatoes. So I'm going to peel them up now. I'm going to use a fork to mash it up. You can also use your fingers, but it's slightly warm, so I'm going to use a fork here. We don't want it completely smooth texture here. We want a little pieces of the boiled potato. We don't want it completely mashed, so we don't have to pass it through a soup strainer to get a mashed potato texture very smooth. Right, now we are going to temper it. Till then, let's check the mutton as well. Let's check the mutton. So there was no water that was added, but still, and the process of cooking, the curd also has oozed out a lot of water, and the mutton has also oozed out a lot of water. So let's keep the lid back, not yet cooked. Let's start the stuffing for the mirchi. So we have an open pan here. We don't want the mixture to get too moist, so we have chosen an open pan where the moisture has a good chance to get evaporated. I'm using some oil. Let's put little jeera and check if it's ready. I'm going to reduce the flame now because I'm going to add all powdered spices which are very quickly likely to get burnt. So I'm now going to add cumin, taking it away from flame, hing, turmeric powder, red chili powder, and for prevention of burning, I'm going to put some water. Adding the potatoes now. On a slow flame, I'm going to continue cooking. Adding salt now. Some salt. And some amchur powder. You turn off the flame and get it mixed properly. You can check any of the spices that are less, salt is less, you can add it now. I'm going to transfer this mixture on a plate so that it cools down. And in the meantime, as it is cooling, I'm going to do the pre-preps for the garlic chutney. Have the garlic here. checking whether the mutton is done. The oil has started oozing out from the curd, and we have also used little curd for cooking the mutton in the beginning. So let's check if the mutton is done. Choosing a slightly bigger piece. Using a knife and a fork. Almost done. So it's time to add the masala that we made. Reducing the flame to minimum now, because there is cashew nuts which are likely to get stuck at the base and get burned very quickly. Putting a lid again and keeping it for some 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, so the peeled garlic is ready. I'm going to give it to Kaka for crushing it lightly. I don't want a paste. I have an option of cutting it also. Obviously cutting is going to take a long time. You might have seen some people cutting the garlic in outside the Chinese gadis where they sell the Chinese, or roadside thele wale. So I can chop it also, but I prefer slightly crushed because I believe that the flavors are much more full bodied if you crush it. So I'm going to give it to Kaka now for crushing. Now I'm going to start stuffing the chilies. So I have the chilies here. I'm going to open the slit and I'm going to stuff the chilies in with the potato mixture. I have tasted and adjusted the seasonings. Stuff it up and slightly close it up so that it stays. If the chilies are slightly bigger, you may use a toothpick, or you can even use a thread to tie them up so that they stay the way they are. Right? So I'm going to stuff the chilies and keep them ready. Don't forget the tip of the chilies. Must fill them up till the tips. Okay, so the batis are out of the oven. Some of them have broken up. You can see the texture inside, slightly softer than the outer crust. Okay, so the broken ones I'm going to keep aside for churma. The rest I'm going to transfer on the pie dish, or you can keep them in the plate. Traditionally what they will do is they will dip them in the ghee. So we are not going to dip these in the melted ghee, but I am going to put some ghee on top. So the idea is it will melt because of the warmth, and it is going to get slightly absorbed. It will go through the cracks. You can also crack it slightly. And then put the ghee. राजस्थान में या तो बहुत ज़्यादा गर्मी होती है या तो बहुत ठंड होती है, दोनों ही सीजन्स बहुत ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग होते हैं. तो इन बोथ सीजन्स इट्स नाइस टू हैव प्योर घी. दैट्स व्हाई यू विल सी दैट इन राजस्थानी क्यूजीन देयर इज़ एक्सटेंसिव यूज़ ऑफ घी इन वेरियस फॉर्म्स. मोस्ट ऑफ द तड़काज, जो भी तड़का भी डालते हैं वो भी घी में होता है, या तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें घी में डुबो के खाते हैं, या तो दे विल while cooking also they will use a lot of pure ghee, right? So I am going to keep this aside, and we will next start with the garlic which has been crushed for the lasun chutney. We are starting with the lasun chutney. So we have the crushed garlic here, we have the rest of the spices ready. So I'm going to take some oil in a pan. We need to take a little extra oil here. It is more like a pickle. So, and it is eaten with dry roti type paratha. So little extra oil is required. Add the garlic and get it sauteed. We don't want the temperature of oil very high. We don't want to get it burned or browned immediately. So I added it little earlier. Putting some salt so that it doesn't get stuck. And now putting it on a slow flame. Since it started sticking to the base and it is not controllable, I am putting some water in it. The idea is to get the garlic cooked without getting too much color. Adding red chili powder, and amchur powder. I need some mawa for the moong dal halwa. I am going to grate it and keep it ready because I need to be with the moong dal. When you are working in a group, this will keep happening simultaneously as the other dishes are also getting ready. Since I'm working alone, I had kept the moong dal halwa for the end, since it takes a very long time and I need to be with it at least for the initial 10 minutes without letting it burn. So I have kept this dish for the end. After doing most of the dishes or pre-prepared at least, let's check the mutton. It's cooked, has a nice thick gravy, white color. I need to finish it with cream, which I will do later. So I'm going to turn off the gas, still keep it under a lid, and then start with the moong dal halwa. We are starting with the moong dal halwa. The paste is not very fine, not very smooth, slightly coarse. Sometimes it is made very smooth also. Since it's small quantities, I have not added the pure ghee in it while grinding. But when you are cooking in large proportions, that time for the grinding to happen nice and fluffy, they will add pure ghee here. The proportion of pure ghee is equal to the moong dal. So I am going to mix the pure ghee here before switching on the flame so that it gets dispersed evenly in the mass. Now I am going to switch on the flame. I have added half of the pure ghee right now. Second half I will add as I need it while cooking. This is going to take a very long time for getting a brown color. I have also seen the professional halwais making this in a huge kadai, which is tinned from inside, so there is no color that gets imparted. As you can see, because of the moisture, it is sticking at the base. That is why we have to be with it all the time. The part which has changed color, you can see here, is started cooking. So you have to ensure that it gets dispersed evenly in the mass. At this stage I am going to add a little more ghee. You have to choose a heavy bottom vessel for this and keep scraping the base all the time. Since it is in a small quantity, I have chosen a saucepan. Otherwise I would have gone with a big brass dekchi with a heavy bottom. Time to add another spoonful of ghee. Adding a little more ghee now. You may sprinkle some water and clean the base. Do not change the vessel. The brown color that is very unique to the moong dal halwa will be with this browning that is happening. So do not bother changing the vessel. Very slowly you have to continue with this. It will keep sticking till the water content is completely removed. So how much ever you have cleaned the base, it will keep calling for your attention all the time. You can't relax, leave it alone and go. I've called for some professional help here. Chef Abhishek is going to help me with frying. It's become nice and shiny now. So now I'm going to stop adding ghee and allow it to ooze out from the halwa. We've added little more of pure ghee and now continuing with it. Now it's not sticking at all at the base because too much of pure ghee has gone in. So we're waiting for the color. As compared to chana dal, moong dal cooks pretty fast. This is after around 15 minutes of continuous frying. It has reached a slight brown color here. I am going to add mawa. As per your recipe, you can make out that it is quantity of mawa, sugar, fat and moong dal all is 1:1. The mawa is also going to ooze out some of its fat or ghee. We will continue frying this further. If you need to sprinkle some moisture, you may go with little milk initially, but now that we have added reduced milk, which is mawa, it will do the needful. Now taste it, and it has got a rich taste now. The moong dal is cooked well. The mawa has given its contributions. So now I am going to add sugar. cardamom powder, the sugar is going to melt as it comes in contact with heat, and initially, just like suji halwa, the mixture is going to be watery. And then the sugar water is going to be absorbed by the mawa and moong dal paste which is cooked. Sometimes they will also add syrup, especially when you are working in large quantities. By the time the sugar melts, it is also likely that the sugar caramelizes. To avoid that problem, especially when you are working in large proportions, you would see them adding sugar syrup. This is around 5 minutes. The sugar is melted. As it keeps cooking, it will keep getting absorbed by the moong dal. Okay, this is much under control now. I don't need to look at it or be with it all the time. I'm going to stir it up after every few minutes. So I'm going to keep this on one flame. The mutton is cooked. I'm going to keep it on the lower deck. Just before service I will finish it. But the chilies are going to take some time. So I'm going to keep this aside and first start with the chilies. Taking an open pan again for the chilies, little oil there. Switching on the flame. As the oil is hot enough, I have my chilies ready here. I'm just going to slide them in. Reduce the flame. And leave them alone till they get cooked. I will finish my mutton now. If you are working in large proportions, you can also put it in the oven. The idea is to cook them all around. I'm finishing the mutton, done, reheating it on a slow flame. No chances to be taken now. Adding cream. As it's getting hot, I am getting ready for the tempering. So I have a pan in which I have a mixture of oil and pure ghee, and I have some cloves and red chilies which I am going to use for the tempering. The bati has to be broken up with your fingers, small particles, and we can slightly grind it in the mixie for a coarse powder. So I'll send it up to the mixie. Okay, so this is the powdered bati. I'm going to add pure ghee, slightly melted pure ghee, powdered sugar, cardamom powder, and mix it and keep it ready. If you want to make laddus out of this, you may put little more ghee so that it binds, and the way we made besan laddus, you can make the laddus also. Plate it now. This is the bati. सफ़ेद मांस, the lasun chutney that has been just removed in the container, भरवा मिर्च, if you wish you can mold it as well. Whole lot of nuts. I have used only slivers of badam. You can also put pista. That's today's menu. Padharo Mare Desh.